Level 1. First song. You're 23 years old. You're waiting outside a bar. It's raining. You reach into your pocket and find you only have $10. Today's tips. It's 2:30 a.m. Your performance just ended. You're waiting to go home, but the rain won't let up. You don't have enough money for a taxi. Your home is a 10-minute drive from the bar. But walking there takes at least half an hour. You have no choice but to walk. By the time you reach your front door, you're soaking wet. Even your underwear is almost wet. You barely manage to turn the key and open the door. There's your home. It's hardly a home. It's a basement. Mold accumulating on the ceiling has caused heavy dampness and a musty smell in the house. You hear the sound of water dripping from the faucet. You turn on just a small light to try to see in front of you. Your landlord lives on the top floor. Rent day has come. But you don't have the money to pay the rent. The rent is $527. You, however, have only $232, including the tip you received today. You've been a musician for 5 years. You have a Spotify account. You've uploaded 3 songs. All of them are your own compositions. Your songs have a total of 1,312 streams. But you've already listened to them 1,000 times yourself. Did I sing that part too high? Should the chorus have been more upbeat? You ask yourself the same questions over and over. Still, you upload the song you sang at the bar tonight to your account. Glass Lungs, a 2-minute and 18-second track. When you lay your head on the pillow, sleep won't come. You've got your headphones on and are listening to your own song. You know, actually, that it's all really good. No one has noticed yet. Just then, you notice your landlord has turned on the light and sends a message. Where's the rent? It ruins your peace of mind. You fall asleep while thinking about your song. Morning alarm sounds wake you up. Glass Lungs has reached exactly 1,400,000 streams. You rub your eyes and wash your face. Thinking you might have imagined it, you look again. But the number is correct. 1,400,000. A famous TikToker shares your song with the caption, "This wrecked me." The TikToker's followers are listening to your song too. You think to yourself, if this song ruins someone, what's going to happen to me? Level 2. The rise begins. You head to the bar. You don't have much hope for the streams Glass Lungs has garnered. The bar owner greets you at the door, in a way he's never done before. He seats you in a VIP area and introduces you to a few friends. One is an agency owner, the other a famous producer. They mention they've listened to Glass Lungs and offer you a partnership. You're suspicious. It feels odd that after all this time of effort, things are suddenly falling into place in just one night. But you accept anyway, because you have rent to pay. First, the contracts. Then a few photo shoots. You find yourself in the middle of a whirlwind. Your landlord is still texting you. But the tone of the messages seems to have softened a bit. Hey, buddy, don't worry about the rent. You can pay whenever it's convenient for you. By the way, you're coming over to my place tonight, right? You smile at the message. You explain the situation to the agency owner. The agency owner tells you the rent has been paid 5 minutes later. But the landlord is still texting. You've practically paid a year's worth of rent. You're going to keep living here, right? But no. You're moving from that basement in Brooklyn to a stylish apartment in Queens. You finally feel like you've made it as a singer. But the things that make you anxious never seem to end. What could be the cause of your anxiety? You're famous now. This fame makes you feel good. You feel like you have the power to do anything. Level 3. Star Days. You're living in your mansion in Queens. You've released your first album and it's making waves. Everyone is reaching out to you. Your old school friends, musician acquaintances, people who had disappeared for a while. Suddenly they're back by your side, saying, "I've always supported you." You look at the messages. You remember that these same people didn't say a word 2 years ago. But you still don't delete the messages. You reply. The interviews begin. Someone calls you a genius. The journalist is sitting across from you, waiting for something. You work 12 hours a day in the studio. The producers do everything you say. The engineers listen. The assistants take notes. When you walk into the room, everyone stands up or falls silent. If you like these kinds of career stories, like the video and subscribe to the channel. You're heading into the studio for your second album. You're excited. The success of your first album hasn't faded yet. You're at the top of the charts. After a few rehearsals, the first recording begins. The director and producer seem dissatisfied. The door to off-tube opens. Producer Marcus says something to you. The songs are a bit raw. You pause. 2 seconds pass. When you hear the word raw, a tension starts in the back of your neck. Your shoulders tense up. You notice it. You don't let it get to you. You don't take it seriously. Because your first album is still #1 on the top 10 charts. You keep going in the same style. Marcus is still not satisfied. But you keep going. After the recording, you walk into the record label meeting. There are 6 people at the table. They're showing you the charts. Stream numbers are dropping. They say, loss of momentum. A woman tells you need to make songs that fit your brand. You hear the word brand. You remember the music you made 5 years ago. The music you made in a Brooklyn basement at 2 a.m. when no one was around. Now there are 6 people sitting at the table telling you what to do. You sign the deal. Because you have $4,120,000 in your bank account from your first album, but you're spending $180,000 a month. You do the math. 23 months. In 23 months, you'll be broke. Lena is leaving you. You've been with Lena for 5 years. Since the Brooklyn days. Since the days in the basement where you made $527 a month. Now she can't reach you by phone because you're either in the studio or at an event in some city. Worse yet, you're somewhere she doesn't know about. You're not here, she says, not physically, in another way. You don't respond because you have no answer. You're alone in your mansion. You look out the window at Queens. The lights are still on. Hours pass. You think you should call Lena. You hold the phone in your hand. You put it down because you're a star and people call you. To get her back, you have to give up one of the things you have, and you can't. A week later, you ask your manager, can you do something about Lena? He doesn't get it. What should I do? He says. You don't know what the answer should be. Level 4, efforts are not paying off. The second album is released. It enters the top charts at number 31. The record label doesn't use the word disappointment, but the room goes cold during meetings. But you don't really care, because you're a star. You think your light won't fade easily. You start reading the comments every night at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. In bed, the phone screen glows in your face. Glass Lungs was a fluke. The second album is a sellout. Where's the real POV? You turn off the screen. You stare at the ceiling in the dark. 5 minutes pass. You turn it back on. An old producer is giving an interview about you. Too much production has been added to your voice, he says. There's no raw, original sound left. You call Marcus. It's 1:30 a.m. He doesn't answer. In the morning, he texts, is everything okay? You don't reply. You start looking at the names on your team. One is working with a rival artist. One is at the same company as your old producer. One isn't mentioning you at all on social media. You avoid thinking that the mistake might be yours. You change your lawyer. You change your manager. You change your producer. You have $1,840,000 left in your account. You can't sleep. You try to sleep physically, but it doesn't work. 2, maybe 3 hours a night. Your eyes are burning. Your head feels heavy. Even though you don't want to think you failed, you do. But the thrill of being a star still tells you it's not a problem. You go to a doctor. He writes something down. You take the medicine. You wake up in the morning. You look out the window at Queens. You feel nothing. You don't know the name of this feeling. But back in the old Brooklyn days, with the tips, the sound of dripping water, there was something. You don't know exactly what it was. Now it's gone. You go into the studio for the third album. The producer greets you. He smiles. You smile back. Level 5, Ghost. The third album comes out. It's not a success. You're moving out of the mansion. New place, a $2,400 a month apartment in Queens. 5th floor. You can see another building through the window. You search for your name on Spotify. Glass Lungs is still there. 210 million streams. Other songs below it. People are still leaving comments. Most are written in the past tense. The subsequent albums were a letdown. Where did that voice go? You don't read the comments. Because when you do, you realize your mistakes. You realize you haven't improved at all. You run away from that realization. You wake up in the morning. You make coffee. You turn on the computer. You shut it down. You look at your phone. You put it down. You try making music for a while. You open your laptop. You create a file. You stare at the screen for 10 minutes. You shut it down. Because something is missing. You can't quite put your finger on what it is. A feeling, a pain, a need. It was there when you were in Brooklyn. Now it's gone. One day you look out the window. Someone in the building across the street is playing the guitar. You can't see them. You can only hear the sound. They're playing badly. The notes are out of tune. You listen for a while. Then you close the curtains. That feeling of emptiness is real. And right now, somewhere out there, someone else is taking their first step toward the same trap, believing it will change their life. They have no idea what it will cost them. If this story gave you pause, leave a comment.